the same classroom like this. I'm from Dehradun, I studied there, so I was sitting in one of these classrooms when somebody was standing here and talking to me and telling me, giving me advice, and I can understand sometimes advice can be boring because who is this person who has suddenly come up and he doesn't know us, he doesn't know where we come from, and he's here to give us advice. So I'm not here to give advice, I'm here to tell a story. I'm here to explain some interesting science to you. I won't come and give a boring lecture, which I think all of you have enough knowledge and wisdom which you can apply, but I'm here to explain some science to you today to make certain things interesting. My name is Parth. I am a doctor by background, but I'm not a typical doctor, which means I see patients, but most of my work is about research. So I do a lot of research. I try to understand how we can improve lives of people, how can we reduce suffering, how can we make sure everybody is happy and healthy. So that's majority of my work. I have a short presentation for all of you here today to explain something related to tobacco, but not the usual boring stuff of tobacco, because I'm sure all of you already know. How many of you think tobacco is bad for health? Almost everybody. How many of you think tobacco causes painful death? How many of you think tobacco causes a lot of diseases? So I don't want to say the same things over and over again. It's boring. We all know all of this. But have you ever questioned and have you ever been curious of, if we already know all of this, why do people take tobacco? Has anybody thought this before? We already know tobacco causes harm. The person who is taking tobacco also knows tobacco causes harm. Why do they still take it? Something which often my patients have asked me, if you keep telling me tobacco causes harm, then why is the government selling it? The government should stop selling tobacco. So I'm going to talk about a bit of the science behind this. How is tobacco industry targeting specifically children and forcing them in a way to take tobacco? And we'll go through this shortly once the presentation is loaded. It was also very good to see, as soon as I walked in, the first thing I saw was a basketball court. When I was in college, I also played for the college basketball team. So people from the basketball team here, show of hands. Okay, I see some basketball players. Okay, I would ask questions to basketball players because I am also a teacher by background. So today I will be asking questions not just to the students but also the teachers of students. So, okay, let's start with a short quiz. A show of hands. How many people know who this is? Anybody has seen her before? Teachers can also answer. Out of these two, anybody has seen their faces before? Yes. Who are they? Yeah, somebody said Mukesh. Yeah, the guy's name is Mukesh. What is the girl's name? Sunita. So if you have gone to movie theaters, before every movie an advertisement has played. The story of Mukesh and Sunita. Now Sunita died at 28 years of age. Mukesh died at 24 years of age. Both died of oral cancer, which is cancer which happens because of tobacco consumption. But we all know that. Every time we go to the movie, the advertisement plays and we are like, why are they showing this again? We are bored of that advertisement. But Mukesh and Sunita have done a great thing for the country. Now everybody knows tobacco causes harm because of Mukesh and Sunita. But we won't talk about the boring things of tobacco, why we talk about disease and all these pictures which look very scary, and we don't want to talk about that. We talk about dogs. Because dogs are cute, dogs are fun. How many of you like dogs? Almost everybody likes dogs. So today we'll talk about dogs and we'll understand how dogs have contributed to tobacco addiction. So that is the topic of discussion today. What did dogs do? Because of dogs, there is a lot of tobacco addiction in our community. Before we start, I'll show you 3 pictures. If you know the person in the picture, you have to raise your hand. And one person can, all of you together can get the name of that person. If all 3 pictures you identify the right person, you will get an award. And I'll tell the award later. So first picture, everybody ready? Okay, how many people know? Virat Kohli, everybody knows Virat Kohli. Okay, 1 out of 1. Next picture. Ranveer Singh, everybody knows Ranveer Singh. Okay, 2 out of 2, last picture. If you answer the last one correctly, you get an award. Okay, ready? So who is this? The award is one Mercedes car. Whoever answers this will get a car. This is my grandfather. No, I'm joking, this is not my grandfather. This is a scientist called Ivan Pavlov, a Russian scientist who got the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1904. How many of you have heard of Pavlov? I can see some hands up there. Pavlov's experiment. So now we'll try to understand how dogs have pushed us into tobacco addiction. How many of you have heard of the Pavlov experiment? You have studied in science, Pavlov experiment? Okay, so what Pavlov did was, he took a dog and he showed dog food. And then the dog salivated at the sight of food. And he did that repeatedly. And he could notice that the dog salivates when the dog smells or sees food. Then Pavlov rang a bell and saw the dog. And the dog did not salivate because there was just a sound of the bell. What Pavlov did next, he showed the dog food and rang the bell. Now the dog salivated and also heard the sound of the bell. So he kept doing that again and again, and after some time he noticed that just the sound of the bell made the dog salivate because the dog started expecting food. So this was Pavlov's experiment for which he got Nobel Prize. So he showed that just keeping two things together, if you remove one thing which is not what is causing the dog to salivate, can actually cause the dog to salivate, just ringing the bell. Now the tobacco industry is very smart. They learned from the dogs. What they did, and if you try to use this example in a school, there is a teacher with a scale who hits the child and the child cries. As the teacher keeps doing that, and after a point, the sight of the scale only makes the child cry when there is no teacher also. So this can be a Pavlov's experiment in a school also. But now we'll try to understand how did dogs help tobacco company. So we go back to the Pavlov's experiment. There was bell, there was food, and there was a dog who was hungry. What the tobacco industry did, they replaced the bell with cigarettes, tobacco products. They replaced food with things which make us happy. And we'll come to that. And they replaced a dog with a smoking dog, or us. They replaced that with children. But there was a problem here. The tobacco industry could not directly advertise tobacco because it is illegal in India. It's banned. As per the COTPA Act of 2003, it's illegal to advertise any tobacco product. Have you ever seen people advertising cigarettes, buy cigarettes? No, it's illegal in India. So how do you then advertise tobacco? So the tobacco industry was smarter this time. What they did, they made a safe product which looks exactly the same. So you have seen, how many of you have seen this packet of pan masala? Have you seen that? After cricket match, how many of you have seen people coming and saying Zuban Kesari and... Yes? Are they selling tobacco in their advertisement? No, they are not selling tobacco. They are selling silver coated elaichi. Did you know that? No, because it's legal to advertise silver coated elaichi. So what they do after every cricket match, there was a study done which showed how much percentage of time between cricket matches goes to tobacco industry, almost 70 to 90% of the time. Some tobacco industry is selling silver coated elaichi. But what we think it's tobacco because the packet looks exactly the same. So first step, make a safe product. So you can advertise silver coated elaichi because it's legal. Step 2, make famous people promote it. So Amitabh Bachchan, our famous friend Ranveer Singh, then Sehwag. I don't know how many of you have seen Sehwag play. I think only teachers would have seen here. But then you make famous people promote that safe product. Then you connect it with a positive feeling. What is that positive feeling in our country? Cricket. There's no more positive feeling than cricket. Watching cricket in India win. Or seeing actors looking very muscular, smoking cigarettes, looking very cool. And they connect that tobacco product with a feeling of positiveness. So ultimately what happens? Now the bell is replaced with silver coated elaichi, which looks exactly like tobacco. And the dog is replaced by students, children, young people. And silver coated elaichi is what they are selling, but what they actually want us to buy is pan masala, which is what is causing all the health problems. And is this happening only in tobacco? Has anybody else seen something similar in some other products? Any similar thing which happens not so much in cricket matches, but if you watch tennis, between tennis matches they show some products which are exactly following the same mechanism. Water bottles. Have you seen Kingfisher water bottles being sold as advertisements? McDowell's soda. These are all legal products, but what are they selling through these legal products? They're selling alcohol. So it's very important to understand there's a lot of science going behind these products. How many of you are from science subjects? How many of you 11, 12 had science, biology, physics, chemistry? Okay, so that's a lot of biology because it's related to health. How many of you are from commerce, economics? Anybody from commerce, economics? Okay, I see one person here. So there's a lot of marketing strategies, a lot of research which goes into this. But why talk about tobacco? Why are we endlessly doctors, all healthcare providers talking about tobacco? Because if you look at data in our country, especially in school-going children, tobacco consumption is going up because they are targeting you to consume tobacco. They are making you think it's cool, they are making you think it's normal, and they are trying to influence you by connecting the tobacco product with positive thoughts and positive feelings. And specifically in girls, tobacco is rising higher than boys because they are selling girls tobacco through the feeling of feminism, that you will be empowered if you consume tobacco. You will be equal to men who are consuming tobacco. So these are a lot of positive thoughts that the industry is exploiting. And I'm not going to go through this again. All of you know. Cancers, diabetes, hypertension, blood pressure, all these diseases tobacco causes. If I start talking about it, it'll become a 3-day talk. So I don't want to do that. But is smoking and chewing tobacco cool? How many of you think it's cool? Let's be honest. It looks very cool when Ranveer Singh is showing 6-pack abs and there's a cigarette in his mouth and he walks through smoke and comes out. It looks cool. How many of you think it's cool? I think it's cool. Nobody else thinks it's cool. I'm the only one. I'm the only bad person here. Okay. So let's think what is cool again. Let's redefine cool. Is this cool? Somebody runs 100 meters, 200 meters, starts panting. Is this cool or is this cool? What do you think? Is the left side of the picture cool or the right side is cool? How many think left is cool? Come on. Fit people are cool. Okay, nobody thinks fit people are cool. The other thing people ask me is, what do I do when I'm bored? Because consuming smokeless tobacco, smoking is something we do when we are bored. So there are a lot of things we can do when we are bored. We can play basketball. There's a basketball court right here. We can do research. Research is very cool because you can change lives, you can impact a lot of lives. You can do painting, you can do reading, you can start book clubs, reading clubs. And then the last question. If tobacco is bad, then why is the government selling it? Has anybody thought of this? Why is Ranveer Singh allowed to do what he does in movies, smoke and look cool when tobacco is bad? Why is he doing that? Why is pan masala available in every corner but medicines are not available? You will find pan masala in 100 meters, 200 meters of the school, but you won't find a pharmacy around. Why is that? Anybody knows? So it's because the government gets money out of it. The government earns close to 550 crores per annum from tobacco sales. So why would they stop selling? Ultimately, it becomes our responsibility to not support the government in getting money from tobacco products because ultimately it harms our lives. Who can recognize this picture? Yes, what is it? Stranger Things. So how is Stranger Things connected to tobacco? So Vecna is like the tobacco industry because you can't see it most of the time, but it's influencing you, and you are the people from Hawkins who are getting influenced by Vecna, but Vecna is hiding somewhere and playing all the, making all the moves so that you get influenced by tobacco. So we have to defeat Vecna at the end of it. How many of you think we have to beat Vecna? Come on, higher. Yeah, come on. So what can we do then? How do we stay healthy? What can we do? The first thing is that do not let tobacco company influence you because We are fighting right now. We have to say no to tobacco. We have to understand that they are intentionally doing this so that we consume tobacco. So we have to actively say no. Second thing is we do not have to judge our friends. A lot of us do this, that if we see somebody smoking, consuming tobacco, the first thing we think, oh, that's a bad person. We should not be friends with that person. His upbringing is bad. His parents have not taught him the right thing, which is the wrong thing to think about, because we have seen that they are getting influenced heavily by the industry. It's not entirely their fault. They have been heavily influenced. There have been research projects done which showed that if somebody sees a tobacco advertisement, like the ones I mentioned, they're at a much higher risk of consuming tobacco. So it's not their fault, it's just that they are being heavily influenced. So let's not judge anybody who consumes tobacco. Let's understand why they started, why are they not able to quit, and then help them quit. And lastly, if you take tobacco, then reach out to your teachers. I'm sure there are a lot of friendly teachers here. Reach out to your favorite teacher so that she doesn't come with a scale to beat you up, but helps you quit tobacco. 3 more pictures and then we'll stop. So if you answer this no or what, because we are very simple pictures. No old people I'll show pictures of. Who's this? Who's this? Huh? Shah Rukh Khan. Who's this? Hrithik Roshan. What is common in all 3? They were chain smokers and they all quit. So they have successfully quit tobacco. So it's not like it's impossible. People can do it if they decide to do it. So I'll end with this. I think if you are consuming tobacco, or if you think somebody is consuming tobacco, help them understand it's entirely not their fault. They have been heavily influenced by an industry which is using a lot of research to sell tobacco. Help them quit, and so you can start by quitting yourself. Thank you, and I wish you all the very best. I hope and pray for a very healthy life for all of you, and I hope you contribute to the country and the nation and help in building a very healthy and curious nation that questions and is very curious about what is happening around us, because I'm sure you all would have heard of APJ Abdul Kalam, Dr. Abdul Kalam. He said that there's this book he wrote in 2000. I'm forgetting the name of the book. I'll share with your teachers, but in that book he says that young people are the future of the country, and what we need is young people who question everything that is happening. Even if your teacher is saying something which sounds wrong, question the teacher. So question everybody, stay curious and stay healthy. Thank you. All the best.